Hello, this is Will from Refuse to be Feeble. I was asked about what's the feeling you have when you get a transplant? Sometimes words can't describe it, and fortunately, I've had this feeling twice. But let me tell you a story about what happened right before and right after I got my first transplant. When I was on dialysis the first time, I was very young, in my 30s, and having two small kids, they would love to go to a place called Joker's. We're living here in Brunswick, Maine. And in doing that, they would all get ready, and I would say yes, and we would go to take them to Joker's. But being on dialysis, sometimes my strength would just diminish, or I would feel really sick, and we would have to cancel. This would happen quite often. They would probably say it didn't, but for me, I didn't like letting them down. And unfortunately, I didn't have the energy to go. Right after my transplant, I remember once my son came to me, and he was smaller, said, "Dad, could we go to Joker's?" And I thought about it, I went, "Yes, we can go." So he was all excited, and he went to tell his older sister. But I overheard the conversation. And she said to him, "Now, don't be upset if at the last moment he doesn't feel good and we can't go." This kind of bothered me. So we're in the car, we're driving, three of us, and I'm driving through it, and I enter this town of Freeport. And Freeport, Maine is famous for LL Bean and other shopping. So as we're going through, I remember this overwhelming feeling coming over me. And I started crying uncontrollably. So much so that I could barely see the road, and they noticed, and they said to me, "Are you okay? Are you sick? Do we need to go back?" And I shook my head and said, "No." I was crying not because I was sick. I was crying because I felt so good. For the first time in many years, I felt normal. And in driving, the tears began to flow, and I let it all out. And my joke is all the time, I said the reason why I cry so much is because the girl kidneys that are inside of me. Going to Joker's, that's the first time I ever played with them so much. I played with the other kids. I did everything. I was so full of energy. That was one of the best days of my life. That's what it feels like when you get a transplant. So right now, if you're on dialysis and you're going through those moments, trust me, I know how those moments are. When you think you can't make it and it seems like doom and gloom, keep the faith, keep working hard, and that day will come. And one day, just like me, you will drive through your town of Freeport and your tears will flow because you will feel so good, and I cannot explain it. It's like being reborn. And so even to this day, every time I'm driving and I start going through Freeport, the tears start to flow because I remember where I came from. And I'm thankful for my donors, both being live donors to help me help myself by giving part of themselves to give me life. So for those of you who do have donors, be it a live donor or not, respect the gift. Be thankful and treat the gift with respect and honor, because you're fortunate that someone else gave a piece of themselves so that you may live. I'm always thankful to both my donors. There's Ellen and there's Catherine. And to this day, I would always respect my gift. So find your Freeport, let the tears flow, and cry out of happiness, because you will feel better, and it will be such a great day.
We are the people that refuse to be feeble. I say, yeah, we are the people.